How do I beat a DWI charge in Texas? My name is Justin Wilson. I'm the founding owner and senior attorney at My Dallas Criminal Lawyer. And in this video, we're going to talk about what we do to beat a DWI in Texas. First, it comes down to seeing if we can fight the legality of the initial police contact with our clients. If we can find some sort of evidence that there was either a lack of reasonable suspicion or probable cause for the officers to initially detain our clients, it means that we have a chance of getting all the evidence gathered after that initial detention thrown out. That leaves the prosecutors with no other choice but to dismiss the case. Next, we try to figure out if we can combat those standard field sobriety tests somehow. Standard field sobriety tests are the backbone of officers gathering probable cause to make an arrest for a DWI. The standard field sobriety tests, also known as SFSTs, consist of 3 tests. One of them is called an eye test, known as horizontal gaze nystagmus. Second, they look at a walk and turn test, which is where our client would take 9 heel-to-toe steps down the line, turn around, take 9 heel-to-toe steps back. Third and last of the SFSTs is the one-leg stand, where our client would be asked to stand on one foot for 30 seconds, looking down at their toes, counting out loud, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, and so on. The officers are looking for clues of intoxication, and what we're looking for is mistakes that the officers may have made in the way that they either administer those tests or evaluate those. And remember, they're called standard field sobriety tests, which means that there is a standard that the officers are supposed to follow, and oftentimes they fall short. Next, we look at, did the officers either have valid legal consent when they took a specimen of our client's breath or blood, or if the client refused to provide a specimen of breath or blood, then did the officers get a legal search warrant to take our client's blood against their wishes? And lastly, there is something called retrograde extrapolation, which is where the blood analyst that would come to testify for the prosecution at trial has to actually say, it's not just that your lab report says your BAC was this a couple hours after you were pulled over. In fact, they actually have to be able to prove what your BAC would have been at the time that you were driving your vehicle. And that's a lot easier said than done. But it comes down to it, the big areas that we have when we're trying to beat a DWI charge in Texas is, first, we're going to look at the legality of the initial detention. Then we're going to tear apart and scrutinize the officer's administration and evaluation of those standard field sobriety tests. Then we're going to look at, do we have either a legal valid consent or do we have a lawful search warrant to take our client's blood? And lastly, we're going to dig into the analyst, how the protocols they follow to test our client's blood, and most importantly, whether they have enough information to be able to do this calculation to backtrack that BAC. When it comes down to it, there are a number of ways to beat a DWI charge in Texas, but you need a skilled, experienced DWI lawyer to help you do that. Contact us. You can find us on the web at mydallascriminallawyer.com, or you can give us a call at 214-764-5535.